Hello everyone! About a month ago, one of my lovely subscribers by the name of Ray B requested that I do a video discussing the reasons why I hate JDM's portrayal of Negan. Admittedly, there is a lot I dislike about his character. I know I've moaned an awful lot about him over the last year or so, but on the other hand there's also been many times when I've been full of praise for the leader of the Saviours. So with that in mind, I'm going to expand upon Ray B's initial idea and describe 3 things that I love and 3 things that I hate about the TV show version of Negan. So without further ado, let's begin. Throughout the entirety of The Walking Dead's lifespan, there haven't been many moments that have made me laugh, which makes sense when you consider that the show is actually quite depressing in tone. However, with Negan on the scene, I think I laughed more last season than I did during all the previous seasons combined. One moment in particular that stands out to me is when Negan reacts to Father Gabriel sneaking up on him at Alexandria. Negan's response is absolutely priceless, and the way he delivers the creepy as shit line made me laugh out loud. Despite this example, admittedly there are moments when his jokes don't quite land due to being too childish or just plain sick, or well, a mixture of the both. I mean, take the line about Lucille being a vampire bat. Truth be told, it's actually a pretty clever pun, but I doubt many people have found it funny seeing as Negan had just bashed Glenn's brains all over the floor beforehand. When we don't like people, we usually don't find them funny, and when Negan was first introduced I hated him. As I've spent more time with him, he's gradually grown on me, as has his sense of humour, which is something I didn't really expect. So in my opinion, JDM does deserve some credit for making me laugh at a character's jokes who initially I never thought I would. As a comic book reader, I am well aware that Negan talks a lot of bullshit. Half the stuff he says sounds ridiculous, as this speech bubble illustrates. But for some reason I just find that a lot of the rhetoric he spills sounds more dumb on TV than it does when reading the comics. I found it incredibly cringy, for example, when Negan was talking about Sasha's beach ball sized lady nuts in the last few episodes of season 7. Although it's something that I can probably imagine the comic book Negan saying, actually hearing it said by a person just sounds, well, kind of dumb. For me, it's the kind of dialogue that makes me roll my eyes. Let's use the recently released season 8 trailer as another example. At the beginning of the trailer, Negan says to Gabriel, "I hope you have your shitting pants on." Now this line itself isn't terrible, but instead of simply stopping there, Negan then says, "Your shitting pants? I hope you're wearing them right now because you are about to shit your pants." This just sounds so dumb. It's not intimidating, in fact all the tension in the scene is gone as soon as Negan repeats himself. And sure, this dialogue probably wouldn't seem out of place in the comics, but even in spite of that I just don't think it translates over well to TV. And I mean, what are shitting pants anyway? Are they actually a thing? Are they something incontinent people wear? Okay, I'm probably looking into this whole sequence a bit too much, but my point still stands. Negan's dialogue at times just seems bloody awful. Shortly after Negan's introduction on the show, I witnessed many examples of people on the internet describing him as a one-note villain. Certainly it may have seemed like this was the case during his first couple of appearances during season 7, however as the episodes progressed it became more apparent that there was more to his character than initially appeared. Negan may be a complete arsehole, but he does have more than one side to him, which in my mind makes him a lot more interesting to watch. Take the way he acts when Carl sneaks into Sanctuary and kills a few of his men. Instead of simply bashing Carl's brains in, he takes him under his wing and gives him a tour of the Saviour's HQ. Later during the same episode we even, dare I say it, see a more human and caring side of Negan when he converses one-on-one with Carl in his personal quarters. It looks like his character is going to continue developing next season. In my opinion, this can only be a good thing. One of the reasons the Governor was regarded as a decent villain was because as a viewer we learnt an awful lot about what caused him to become the man he was. I'm looking forward to learning more about Negan's past and what exactly makes him tick. I know I've said this in one of my videos before, but I believe there's a fine line between making a character seem unpredictable and making them appear inconsistent. One of the problems I have with JDM's portrayal of Negan is that the more we learn about him, the more some of his actions just seem out of character. Let's take what I previously mentioned about Negan and Carl. It's obvious from their interactions that Negan is quite fond of the boy. When he first meets Carl during a visit to Alexandria, he's impressed by his guts when he witnesses Carl threatening some of his men who are taking his belongings. Then when they meet again at Sanctuary, this sense of respect is deepened. Cue my surprise then when during the season finale, Negan attempts to murder Carl with Lucille. Now based on their previous interactions with one another, it just doesn't seem like this is something his character would do. It seems like every time I warm up to Negan and think maybe there's a different side to him, he does something to prove otherwise, which makes it hard for me to become completely invested in his character. Whether you like or despise Negan, there's no denying that his character brings a huge amount of charisma to the fold every time he's on screen, so much so that sometimes things can feel a bit flat when he's missing in action. Yes, admittedly his long self-indulgent monologues can get a bit tedious at times, but on the whole I do enjoy watching JDM do his thing. I've made a couple of jokes in the past about how it seems strange that a middle-aged guy who talks to his baseball bat can command the respect of so many people, but when you see Negan in action you kind of realise why. As well as being charismatic, Negan has a knack for persuasion, which is obviously a useful tool when trying to recruit people to work for him. Just look at how valued he's made Eugene feel since he's been at Sanctuary. Negan has managed to take someone who was absolutely petrified of him and make him feel like an important member of his team. So much so that I don't even think Eugene particularly cares that he's siding with him now instead of Rick. It's great seeing Negan's recruitment methods in action, and it just makes the fact that he does have so many followers all the more believable. Though I like seeing the process of Negan convincing people to join his cause, I think his tendency to try to continuously recruit his enemies is incredibly stupid. Over the course of last season, Negan has tried to tempt Daryl and Sasha to join him without success, has successfully recruited Eugene, and as previously mentioned has also attempted to take Carl under his wing. What annoys me about all this is how Negan came to the decision to recruit these characters. He tried to convince Daryl to work for him after Daryl punched him in the face, he tried to get Sasha on side after she stormed his base and killed some of his men, and he also took a liking to Carl after he, like Sasha, killed a bunch of his soldiers. To be honest, seeing as Negan seems to have a thing for recruiting people who attack him or his people, I'm really surprised he's managed to survive so long. Surely it would make more sense to kill these people than convince them to switch sides. I mean, it seems like all you need to do to get into Negan's good books is kill some of his people or assault him, which is quite frankly ridiculous. I mean, imagine if Rick came face to face with Gareth in the episode 4 Walls and a Roof, and instead of killing him, he'd try to recruit him. Fans would have gone mad, and quite rightly so, it just wouldn't have made sense. So why does Negan constantly get away with doing the exact same thing? Hopefully this is something that doesn't take place again next season. So there you have it, my 3 things that I love and 3 things that I hate about Negan. Please let me know your thoughts below, and as always, thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.